Hello, welcome back to RSQ. We finished reading
Howdy.
Unsicker Road, Wrack Ruin, Book 3 by Otto Schafer.
Is true.
We read
It's
the
true,
first
we
two. This has kind of been our one-off read here and there when we're between big RSQ books. Where we pull these up and we give them a read. The first two we thought were super unique, super enjoyable for a well-traveled path. We thought they were still fresh, and now we're here to jump into book 3 for you,
We're
the
in
people.
book 3. Like you said, I feel like this is more of a like our in-betweener kind of series right now. They're quick reads for us, just because they are quick reads. But anyway, let's get into it right away and start off with the cover. The cover looks just like the other ones to me, with the zombie on the front and something below.
I like the vibe.
I think I like this cover the most out of all three.
Yeah.
But I'm still not a fan of the zombie on the front. I don't know. That's Tommy, though.
I like the zombie on the front more than I do people on the front. Like, I don't have a problem with the zombie, but when there's people on the front, I'm like, meh. You know, I have that weird thing about characters on the front of books.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I like and I actually, no, typically I don't. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, here we are. So this is the first review, by the way, in the new dig.
Look at that. You got an interesting ambiance vibe going on with the blinds right there.
Yeah, I don't know what, I haven't set anything up yet, and my wife's cricket stuff will be all back there, so I'll have a different background, but this is what we're doing.
Looks great. My office
Thanks,
is messy as normal. I have a guest star today, a Nerf dart.
Wow, I love it.
Anyways, character development.
Character development, I feel we didn't do much here. I feel like I'm giving it a half point. I feel like because we got some things from maybe the new characters. I feel like I can't remember the new kid's name. The
Aaron.
autistic Aaron. He got some, interesting like he wasn't just, hey, I'm an autistic child. Like there was actually like things happening with him that I thought were cool.
Yeah.
And some of like the new baddies, I guess, had an arc. But I feel like our main people just didn't. There was no development. They kind of just were there.
We didn't really see anything from Zoe and Oliver or Melinda or
like Austin or Andrew or something. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, the like main cast. We didn't really do much. We got a little bit from Aaron and a little bit from Ben, as far as what I would say is like genuine development. But I mean, even Ben's was not so much like genuine arc as much as it was like explaining his like him telling us the story of his life.
Yeah.
But I wasn't super thrilled with the arc of the convicts.
We did get some with.
Yeah. But I'm giving it a half point too. I didn't feel like we had good character work in this one.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like I want to get into my next point when I say I feel like for originality and creativity, we kind of missed the ball here a bit. I feel like, and we had talked about this before, books 1 and 2, there was like suspense the whole way, like real fear you could feel you could feel.
Yeah.
Like on the page, like it was really well written. Not that this wasn't well written, but this book I feel like fell into the trope trap, right? So the trope trap of this is a zombie book, and now we got to hold up in this situation. We're gonna hunker down, and things are gonna be good in our house that's super bunkered, and then the super bunker breaks, and it felt very done in everything. And not that you can't do it. It just I feel like the way it was done just didn't feel fresh really at all, and it deviated from what was so unique about the first two that I feel like it fell flat for me.
There's some unique elements in this. I still enjoyed the parasitic zombie pseudoscience. That's something I've always kind of, I guess that's not really, that's kind of world building. I'll save that one. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as general creativity, kind of mostly the same here. It was like we fell into reuse zombie tropes, whereas the first two felt really fresh to me. They felt like it was very suspenseful and not like we're just rereading zombie stuff we've already read. And then when we fell into like convicts and a super bunker, I was like, this is kind of like known territory.
Cured it.
You did it.
I was sick of being blind. If only it were that easy, right?
Oh, you gave it a 0.
I did give it a 0. Yep,
Yeah.
I gave it a 0 on this one. Because I feel like the first ones did it so well. Like they felt so fresh. And this one, it was original in the sense that like we had like the amalgamations and everything.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 0.25 for that. I'm leaving it at 0.25 because I'm not going to say this was totally like a repeat of something. I feel like a lot of the big plot elements were, and so that was where I had beef. But there's a smidge of uniqueness for the like parasitic infection stuff.
It's really hard, I feel like, when you have a trope or like a story you're writing that has so many chefs in the kitchen, right? Where like you have, I mean, it's zombies. They've been written about for like ever.
Yeah, it's true.
Eventually things are going to cross over, but I felt like this one hit so many tropes that it was a little bit engaging storyline though. How were you here?
I think I'm giving this a 0.52. I like this book was a fun read, and I'm happy we read it because I've enjoyed his writing and I've enjoyed his stories. But I don't know that there was much here that was like, what's going to happen next? What's going on? There's like the first two that was huge, like the suspense, and we're falling into the comparison trap. But for this one, I just think it was like there wasn't much that was like, what's next? What's going on? Like, what's keeping me engaged here?
Yeah,
we camped a lot. The characters camped out in comfortable situations a lot without much like driving factors.
I think for this one, I still give it a 1. Because even though I wasn't like blown away and things are great, like I still enjoyed what was happening enough. And I know you didn't necessarily like the prisoner POVs. I really didn't mind them. I felt like it was nice because it pulled us away from the campiness. Along with the Tommy POVs, I feel like made things kind of interesting.
I did like the Tommy POV.
So I think I'll give it the full point. It wasn't the most exciting of the 3 books, no, but I don't think I'm gonna mark it down for that person because I mean I still flew through the book. But I think that also speaks more towards like the prose and everything, where it was easily digestible. But in terms of engaging storyline, I give story end and wrap up. I don't know. I think the whole soap thing was cool science-wise, but I was picturing this in my head, right, of him throwing dish soap at this huge, scary zombie amalgamation. Like, this is just silly. It feels very silly. It was cool. Like, it's in the same token, it's like, oh, something every day, like, can be used to take down these guys. So it works well story-wise. It just was a little silly for me. And he got them out of the house at least. They're done with there. I still don't know how to rate it though. I'm gonna wait for you to talk.
I don't know how I feel about the ending either. The problem with the ending of this book is that it made the whole book feel like filler to me. Where we leave off at the end of this book has me kind of like, what was the point of this book, right? So that's what makes me not want to give it a full point here. Is that like it didn't cap off the events of this book as much as like the ending directly set up for the next book. But that's kind of all it did. I don't know. I feel like I'm being a little harsh, but
yeah. So my thought is I'm giving it a half point as well because how you just mentioned that Tommy was our villain in the last one, right?
Yeah.
And him being the villain again here, just for him to implode everything and then bring us back to where we started at the beginning of book 3, end of book 2, like you said, kind of made it feel filler. So that is why I don't even know if I want it. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah. I'll continue to say this as we get into other categories, but my difficulty with this one was just that it didn't feel like it didn't do much unique like the earlier ones felt really fresh for a well-traveled path, and the events and the suspense really carried it. And in this one, it was just, I don't know that we had much going on. The suspense, well, it's almost like he didn't know necessarily what he wanted to do apart from give the characters a break, right?
Yeah. I mean, you almost need that, but I feel like that could have been like a quarter of the book.
Yeah. Yeah, we always advocate for like well-used rest. World building or setting, this is tough because I did enjoy the pseudoscience, and that's something that I think I've maybe liked a little more than you throughout all 3 books, is the way that the infection has unfolded as like our background plot with the world building. I've enjoyed that. I thought that was done well. The setting was fine. So maybe a 0.75 here for me, because like maybe like a little tiny dock on the setting in that, I don't know, maybe I'm being nitpicky. I enjoyed the world building and the setting wasn't bad, so I'll just leave it at a 1.
I mean, that's why we're here, to be nitpicky, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's not why we're here. We like to read.
We're here to read books and talk about them.
So my thoughts are, I'm giving it the full point. Setting has been the same, all books. I feel like it's consistently fine. The world building I felt like was still fine. We got some new zombie lore, but we also, even though the new POVs were kind of like overused tropes, it showed us the outside world as it is now while our characters are kind of like tuckered in. So we got to still see some new stuff through some fresh eyes, right? Through some fresh perspective. So even though it might be like the same thing we saw, like the way the characters see it differently, it's like, oh, these zombies are actually doing this. Is my thoughts. My thoughts and feelings. Pacing and structure though, I think the structure was fine.
The structure was great.
I don't think there was anything wrong with that. I have a hard time though with the pacing because I don't know if the pacing was bad because I felt like the POV switches were at good times. I feel like the
Yeah.
characters were moving to where they needed to go quick enough. I just feel like it was our main characters being stuck at the house. I feel like the scenarios that were happening were forced. So like we still got to see them. Like a lot of like Zoe complaining about
Oliver?
Oliver like going into the bar and like and being mad at him. Like I get you're strung out and mad, but it's and like, you know, frazzled, but it's just
Yeah.
not like a lot.
That's a beef I have
So
for
I don't
character
know what to
development,
do
actually.
for the pacing. I feel like it's a 0.75.
Yeah. I feel like the pacing was fine. As much as it was like my beef with this book, I think it's my beef out of comparison to the other books. I think that I thought
That's a good point.
I thought the pacing was phenomenal, like almost a bonus point in the first two with his measured, like his suspense that was just like bleeding off the page. There was so much suspense in the first two that reading this one made it feel like the pacing wasn't as good, but ultimately the pacing was fine. The POV switches were good. I didn't have any problem with the way it moved or the structure. I wasn't like bored. I wasn't like, I don't want to read this. I'm not like, it didn't feel slow to me. So
You've convinced me on my earlier point, so I bumped it up to a 1. You talked me into it. On emotional impact, I think this is the weakest one emotional impact wise. I feel like I liked Ben's.
yeah, Ben's was really it. Ben's like a little bit of growth in character work that we had. And then I had almost negative emotional impact for Zoe and Oliver this time. Normally they're wholesome to me, but the like her like flipping out on him for going to the barn felt like thematically off, tonally off in that like they've been through some stuff. Like they're not gonna have the like it was almost to the level of like it felt like she treated him the same way she did when she found out he was like back to bounty hunting without telling her, and it was like this big lie, and she was like, this is earth shattering. And I was like, he just went to go like put down a zombie kid. It's like consult me next time, not like a why do you keep leaving me.
yeah.
But all that to say, the emotional impact, I don't really know. I don't know that I want to give it a 0.
Give it what you feel. What's your knee jerk reaction?
Maybe a 0.25 is where I'm going for this one.
Yeah.
I don't
Also, he shot the dog. That was mean.
Yeah, Tommy went boom boom to dog dog.
Yeah, I felt like because I was gonna argue that we had some like moments with Tommy that were charged, but also it really feels like he should not have been in control all that time. Like I was like, there's no way that he would be. My motivation was Otto didn't let me sleep with, or not Otto. That's the author.
The author didn't let me sleep with Zoe. Well, you're not wrong.
True. Didn't let him sleep with his wife, and that was keeping him alive, being infected by a parasite. Like drive wise, I was like, it's a little far fetched. Like it was, I guess, a way to get to use a character to do that, but I was like, I'll probably give it a point. Like you said, we got nothing. I didn't really feel anything for the main character. It's kind of annoyed at Zoe this time.
Yeah, same.
What can you do? Writing style and prose though, easy one.
Easy. Yeah. These are digestible. These are easy to read. His writing style is great.
Yeah.
And as much as this sounds like a negative, we have seen sort of him showcase his writing ability over the course of these 3 books and how he can do like it's super suspensefully charged and like quieter moments too. So
yeah. Meaningful themes and depth. This was, I think, also the more I don't know. It was kind of shallow, but we had. I feel like everything with Ben had a lot of themes with, you know, him going back and forth with helping and, you know, overcoming everything he's had to go through. And then he kept the kid alive in there and could go through with killing her. And I don't know. When does something become wrong? Like when the world's falling apart, I guess. I don't know. They're there. I don't feel like we expanded upon them at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know if in this zombie story, we're going to be getting a lot of crazy themes.
Problem is that I felt like the first 2 were really thematically deep because like the second one being a safe place to die, like I felt like that was a really strong theme throughout the whole book. Like, are we just looking for a safe place to die? Like, what's the point here, right? Like questioning the meaning of struggle and survival. So that like this one felt using that not as like a comparison of like why this one is or isn't, why this one does or doesn't match up. I think more so using it as a comparison of like how could a shallower, like simpler book still be thematically deep. It makes me look at this one and not want to give it a full point because the themes weren't as well rounded with our like character development and our emotional impact.
Yeah.
But it's not that they weren't there. So I'm not giving it a 0. Just give me a 0.5.
I think I agree. I feel like you said, they were there, but this book didn't really like focus on them, or like not a lot of extrapolation.
Yeah. Yeah. Like in the second one specifically, I felt like that the theme of struggle and survival was really prevalent, especially with like all the characters in the church that we met. It was like kind of this camaraderie of like living and fighting for survival is important, even if it's like hard or we don't have like much to look forward to.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think I am too. And then
Scooby-Doo.
rereadability and lasting impact, kind of similar vein. I want to read the fourth one. I want to keep going in the world, but this one didn't really leave its mark on me, on my soul.
I feel like, and this is gonna sound harsh, but like it was the most forgettable out of the three.
Yeah.
Like if you had to pick one. So I also get a half point, because
It's
I want to read the more of the story. I like the world he's built. The story was way too narrow of a scope, I feel like, for too long.
yeah, and the problem with it is that like if we going into the fourth book, and the fourth book is like this I won't spoil it, but if it's the like new journey that it's setting up for, this book could totally feel like a like filler, right? Like if you were summarizing it up, like in the first one, they had to fight to get back together, and then the second one, they're fighting at this church to stay alive and to beat, and like Tommy throws a wrench into things, and then the third one, it's like, they made a quick stop at this one place and then moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the lack of
All right.
struggle makes this one forgettable or not as memorable, because there was struggle, but I think that it wasn't as well balanced as the first two.
Because it felt like unnecessary struggle, I think, was the hard part. It's like we forced a scenario on our people. Like, and it makes sense. Like in that, like, oh, you found a safe place, you want to hunker down. But I feel like for it to be a whole book, I think we needed a quarter, a half a book.
Agree.
Agree. All right, so I think that leaves us 6.75 and a 6.
6.37 is our. We could say 6.25.
Wow.
We could say 6.5.
Let's say 6.5.
We could say 6.5.
Let's round her up. Because it wasn't a bad book. I just feel like comparatively to the other ones, it missed the mark. But even if you put it on its own, like if this was just the book, I feel like it was, like we said before, like,
it was just a weaker entry, and yeah, by itself, it doesn't do as much. And I think that it being in a series is like actually what saves it a little more, right? Because we want to keep coming back for the next one, and the first two made such an impression that we're like, give us the fourth one.
Yeah, it's true.
But other than that,
that was book 3.
Yeah, we've been on a wild ride lately. You bought a house. I was on vacation. We've got to talk about Echoes 3 still, Relic of the Gods. We're doing some arcs and indies right now, so keep your eyes out for all that fun content. And
a couple of other things. We've got Parade of Horribles that we'll be doing shortly here.
Oh yeah, we've got to do
we
a review
have
of that.
Another book that we haven't started yet, but we are Sound Booth Theater reached out to us.
That's right. That's exciting
to review
too.
A book coming up. So super excited about that. More details to come probably on our TikTok, Instagram, and probably here too, because we post everywhere. We got a lot of reading to do, and I'm kind of super excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be we're entering into another new season, right? I think this last season was a little quiet in the I had a baby and you bought a house and traveling and kids and stuff, but now we've got some fun stuff lined up. Excited to see where we end up.
Books, the only thing that matters. Leave your family behind.
All that matters are the books.
Just be reading. Just reading.
JBR, just be reading. ABR,
just
always
be reading. But yeah.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for camping out. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we will catch you.
It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Bye-bye.
RSQ out.